Volkswagen's Golf 6 has been available in South Africa since the beginning of this year, and it's available in a number of models, petrol and diesel, the most recent being the sporty Golf GTI. So, what makes this particular one different? And it's not the German number plate, by the way. In fact, it's this GTD badge, and it means that this is Volkswagen's sportiest Golf 6. Make that Volkswagen's sportiest diesel-powered Golf 6 and a car that in Europe rivals the GTI for popularity. Think of it as the GTI for diesel fans, with a power plant that's been designed to deliver huge lashings of shove from near idling speeds. Diesels have been popular in Europe for ages, mainly because they combine frugal fuel consumption with a level of tractability that can be startling in petrol engine terms. The Golf GTD focuses specifically on those attributes and combines them with a sporty styling of a true hot hatch. We've said it before and I'll say it again. The Golf 6 can look a little bit on the bland side, probably because the styling is more generic than really characterful. However, this GTD looks that little bit different. It has a body kit, not too extrovert, but certainly sporty, and it means it turns heads. You look at it, you think, that looks good. And that's what makes it different from the normal, plain, vanilla Golf 6. If anything, the GTD's styling is even more aggressive than that of the GTI. The low front end has large air intakes and a different grille, while integrated daytime running lights are standard. The effect is head-turning, even in Germany, where the car had been available for some months by the time we drove it there. Deeper sills and a lowered suspension contribute to a more athletic stance, emphasized by 18-inch wheels that are much more attractive than the GTI's cookie cutters. The rear shows off a deeper apron and twin-chromed exhaust tailpipes. The overall effect is distinctive, dramatic, and hardly what you'd expect of a turbo diesel Golf. Look behind the spoked wheels, however, and those healthy brake discs will provide some indication of the GTD's performance potential. We drove the GTD during our visit to the Continental Tire R&D Center in Hanover, Germany, and there wasn't as much opportunity to stretch the Golf's legs on the often crowded country roads as we would have liked. Even so, we did manage to get a good sense of what this Golf's drivetrain is capable of. So, what does the car have lurking under that bonnet? Powering the Golf GTD is Volkswagen's latest generation 2-litre TDI turbo diesel engine. It's good for 125 kilowatts of maximum power. Maximum torque comes to 350 Newton meters, and the CO2 emissions level 137 grams per kilometre. Considering the cost of fuel in Germany, we were particularly grateful about the GTD's frugal appetite for premium-grade diesel, despite some spirited driving where conditions allowed, and there was no hardship in spending time in the well-kitted-out cabin either. One of the objectives Volkswagen had with the Golf 6 was to improve the tactile quality of the cabin, and certainly the GTD has an aura of upmarket class about it. But there's something you should remember about this. All this leather, this beautiful interior, the extras, come at a price. In fact, this car costs 100,000 Rand more than the list price because of the bells and whistles it includes. Our test car was fitted with Volkswagen's hard drive-based sat-nav system, which prevented us from getting lost several times, as well as adaptive suspension, plush leather upholstery, and lots of smart metallic detailing, including a set of nicely turned-out alloy pedals. The overall ambiance was very upmarket, and space and packaging top drawer for a car in this class. Boot space is adequate, although this European version had to make do without a spare wheel, relying on a puncture sealing kit instead. The load-through hatch is meant for snow skis. But the GTD is also supposed to epitomize hot hatch performance. There's nothing wrong with the performance of the GTD. 0 to 100 time is 8.1 seconds, top speed 222 kilometers an hour, and does the quarter-mile sprint in 16 seconds flat. And on the fuel consumption front, of course, this vehicle really shines. In open road conditions, 4.3 liters per 100 kilometers, and the combined cycle, 5.3 liters per 100 kilometers. So you're going to go really far. You can get there quite quickly if you like to. The only thing that bothers me is that it just doesn't have the right sound. This is still very much diesel, and diesel isn't really performance, is it?
Well, perhaps not when compared to the more powerful petrol-powered GTI, but the GTD is no slouch, and we got to like the gruff edge to the engine's growl, the instant shove of torque in the small of your back, and the resolute ride of the low and sporty suspension.
Here in Germany, Volkswagen positions the Golf GTD as a direct competitor to the Golf GTI, and it's certainly sporty and different. But to me, it lacks the aura, the appeal, and the iconic class of a GTI. Yes, it's a diesel. Yes, it's very frugal. But if it's outright hot hatch performance you want, the GTI is still the one to go for.
Which is probably why, for now, the GTD is not destined for South African roads. The GTD's state-of-the-art turbo diesel thumps out ample power and big torque, providing thrilling acceleration and superb tractability, and it's cheap on fuel too. Add the GTI rivaling sport suspension and the GTD is a great all-rounder, but it still lacks the charisma and the outright performance of the iconic GTI.